Everybody, welcome to part 3. I did have a part 3 and a part 4 and a part 5 that I shot. I actually filmed those last night, but I've decided I'm going to redo those because it was late, I was drinking, and I just rambled way too much, which I tend to do in these videos. But I apologize for not getting more of these out to you sooner. I just have not found the time. And I thought last night was gonna be probably the only time I had for a while, but I actually have some time today to do it. So I'm going to do these videos again today. And after rewatching the videos I put out last night, I did talk about some important things, but I rambled way too much about it. So we're gonna redo it. And for whatever reason, I had my notifications turned off. So I wasn't aware you guys were even commenting and wanting me to put out more of these videos and enjoying them. So it's good to know that you guys are actually interested in this stuff. I'm not wasting my time. So I will, for the select few of you that are enjoying these videos, continue to pump them out to the best of my ability. So thank you for working with me and staying the course as we go along. I'm gonna redo part 3. So in part 3, I talked a lot about how this thing did when I did my camping trip last weekend. So yeah, last weekend I went on a camping trip and finally got some towing experience in. So the background on my trailer, so I have like an older, like a 2014 like Keystone lightweight trailer that's overall length is about 33 feet, 5,400 pounds dry weight, 600 pound tongue weight. I'd say with everything loaded inside of it, like all the, food, cooking equipment, clothes, water, anything that we need for a trip, I'd say it weighs probably closer to 6,000 pounds when all is said and done. Probably somewhere between 6,000 and 6,200, somewhere in that range. So it's really not that heavy of a trailer. However, it is very long. So 33 feet overall length is pretty freaking long. And it's a giant sail behind you. So one of the things I was concerned about was how good of gas mileage this gets towing. I gotta say, it's not the best. I got between 8.5 and 9, I think, for that trip. I totally forgot to measure it when I went out there. That the computer afterwards was saying 8.5 to 9, but that was after it was sitting and idling for a while, with me disconnecting the trailer and all that stuff. And like when we got to the campsite, we were looking for a good place to set up because we had 3 different trailers showing up, and it's better. Actually, I don't really know. It wasn't probably as good as I was expecting to get, but it towed great. That's the important thing, is it towed great. I pulling it like 75, 80 miles an hour the whole time on the highway, and never swayed, never felt it back there. Even when it was windy, I never felt it on the way there or the way back. It pulled it just fine. No issues, especially even when it comes to braking. Braking, phenomenal. Stops it pretty well, especially due to those heavy duty brakes that the Titan XD has. Like I think I mentioned before in the other videos, great brakes. When I test drove this thing with the salesman in the passenger seat, I warned him ahead of time, hey, I'm gonna test the brakes. He's like, okay, go ahead. But both of us were surprised because it was at a Ford dealership where this was at. He'd never even ridden in one of these before. He was actually impressed by it. But he also was surprised, as I was, that our faces were in the windshield after I did the brake test. So great brakes on the XD, which it always gets praised for, as it should. So yeah, it tows my trailer just fine. MPG is not the best. That being said, I feel like this truck, one of my biggest gripes is the fuel tank size, 26 gallons. For a heavy duty truck, or just a truck in general, especially with a thirsty V8 in it, 26 gallons is way too small. I mean, Nissan, please, if you ever listen to your consumers, please up the fuel tank size on this thing. It needs to be probably around 40 gallons at a minimum. I mean, it's ridiculous how small that tank is. I mean, my F-150, 2008 F-150 had a 26 gallon fuel tank size. That being said, this does a little better on gas mileage average than my F-150. Might be due to the bed cover. I know those do help, but here, let's try not to get too sidetracked here. I wrote down all the stuff I talked about in the other video, which is mostly the towing and tie downs and stuff on my trip. Another thing to note with that trip, it was not a mountain trip. It was to a lake off of I-76, so it's a relatively flat highway or interstate that has some hills up and downs, but it's nothing like the mountains, but mostly flat. So it's just easy driving the whole way. I had a full tank of gas when I left here. It's about an hour and a half away, and used about half tank getting out there, half tank getting back. I was pretty much on fumes when I came back home. So yeah, could have done better with a bigger fuel tank, but hey, you know what? The solution for that is sitting right there. Throw a gas can or two in your bed if you're really that worried about it. So not that big a deal. So I have this little blockade set up because my daughter was out here earlier in her walker, and she likes to try to sail down this driveway into the street and thinks it's hilarious. And yeah, I was to keep her from doing that. So moving on. I also, in the other video, I talked about like tie downs and stuff, which if you cannot tie something down in the bed of this truck, I don't think it can be tied down. Between all of the rails and on the back, on the sides, on the floor, tow hooks. I think on other videos I had talked about the tow hooks that are in the back corner there might being difficult to get to. That's not the case whatsoever. Super easy to get to. I have my generator down back there. No problem with it. These cleats, they are amazing. Here, let me hop up here and I'll show you. It's just really, this truck's been sitting out here in the sun, and I don't want my hands on this thing because it gets hot. But let's go ahead and show you how easy they are to use and how useful they are. Ouch. This does not feel good in the slightest. Okay, so yeah, there's a little dial right there. To pull them off, you just loosen it until it pops out. There's that there, the part that catches. You basically pick a spot on this rail, find where it actually has to click down into a spot, and then you just turn this to the right to tighten it, and then you just go until it gets tight, and then there it is. Not gonna move. Perfect. They work excellent. I wish every truck had them. I think they should. This rail system is amazing. Bed liner is amazing. Yeah, the tie downs work great. I will let you know when I eventually do tie down my motorcycles how well that goes. I don't foresee it ever being a problem. It was never a problem in my previous truck, and I have way more options to tie down with now, so I think we're gonna be set pretty nice. Set up pretty nice for that. Not really concerned. I click that back. It's hot. All right. Yeah. Also, I think I talked about the spray and bed liners versus like this type of bed liner. Yeah, if you have one of these bed liners that's like plasticky and just kind of, it's like a set-in one, get rid of it. Tear that crap out. Get a spray and bed liner, or buy a Nissan. You pretty much get one standard, which all trucks should have. All right, I don't want to keep this video going and rambling like I did before. This thing, great towing, super stable, doesn't sway, even going high speeds. Barely even felt that trailer back there. Accelerates perfectly fine. I even chirped the tires off the line a couple times from the stoplights. Not trying to, but it happens. And yeah, it's not a problem. It gets that trailer, that weight moving, no problem. So I'm gonna call this it for this video here. I'm probably gonna redo parts 4 and 5 as well, because I rambled a lot in those, and wasn't that good a quality of videos. I mean, this is not what I do for a living. I don't do YouTube videos, as you can tell. So we're not gonna have the highest quality, and I'm not gonna be getting straight to the point, because I'm just not used to making these, which hopefully that improves over time. I think it will. So thank you for staying with me and dealing with it. I know it's not easy. It can be boring just listening to me or somebody ramble on and doesn't really know how to make high quality, engaging content. I'm maybe I'll get there eventually, but I honestly don't know how much content I could create talking about one truck. So I'm just going to go with what I have written down in my notes here to try to stay on task best I can. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you on the next part.